will be related to my questions.
Sure, sure.
So I completed my graduation in 2011. After that, I did a job in a construction company for a couple of months.
Mhm.
Then I joined PhD. I haven't done masters. So I completed my PhD in 2016. After that, I was in teaching profession in till 2019.
Okay, okay.
And so I was a professor in a private college in India.
Mhm.
And meanwhile, I've also done sales job just to see what is the business aspect of those things.
Right, right.
Then I came to US for my postdoc, and since August 2019 to till now, I'm doing this.
August
My
2019.
present contract is till March. My first slot of contract expired in this May. Then it got extended till March, and if everything goes well, it will. I will get the extension of one more year.
Okay. And what's your planning after that?
After that, my priority means I won't say that I have
Yeah, yeah.
any fixed planning, but my priority will be to join industrial R&D.
In
If
US
that
or outside, in back in India?
that I'm not constrained. Means I'm not very keen to be here. I'm not very
Mhm.
keen to leave here. Means I'm
Okay,
okay with both options.
okay, okay.
For me, generally people come over here, they want green card, they want to settle down and be in US.
Mhm.
So for me, I don't think it makes much difference whether I'm in US or in India.
Okay, that's okay. I understand. I mean, but do you have a job lined up in India, or if you have to go back, you have to look for a job?
I have to look for.
You have to, okay. And you
Because my
prefer,
last college, yeah, I have to look for.
yeah. So you prefer going back to probably industry, right? That's I think I
Yeah,
think.
industrial R&D is my priority, top priority.
Mhm.
If that doesn't work, means I want to take all these experience, means how things are happening in different sectors. I know
Right,
how things work in academic, whether
right.
it's an IIT, NIT, or any other private college in India.
Mhm.
I'm getting an experience how academic is working in US. I have no idea how things work in industrial R&D and all those things.
Mhm. Okay, okay,
With
okay.
that perspective, I wanted to have a.
Conversation, I guess. Right, right. So let me tell you my experience then, and I think what could be a possibility for you, I believe. So in US, since you are in US, of course, I don't tell people that evaluate all the options. I'm not going to say to you, don't stay in US or don't stay in India, right? Whatever the best option for you you have, whether it's personal or professional, you evaluate all those options, right? So you have an option to find a job in US in an industry. You have an option, and of course, I would say you should evaluate that. The only problem that can come is, of course, the visa thing, right? I don't know what's your visa right now, but
J1.
J1. Yeah. So I don't know much about the constraints of a J1 visa, but my view is, if you are able to find a job in US in an industry, you can get a waiver, right? You can get a waiver. So look for all those options to work in an industry in US. See, looking at your skill set, looking at what you would like to do, I don't know what type of job will suit you, but mostly if you have done your PhD and you are doing your postdoc and all that, I would say industry R&D would be the best place for you to work for to start with. You are not the person who's gonna work in an operations or who's gonna work in manufacturing hardcore. They're not gonna hire you for that particular. So you will be the person. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, let's say you start to work for Apple. You can you can work in their reliability division to do the failure analysis and maybe the product development, but maybe not immediately, but that's where you will be placed most likely. So definitely evaluate options in US for an industry job, but what you have to understand is I don't know how much you know about the visa thing, but the visa process is they have to apply then the H1B visa for you, right? So you have a certain window only that you can join. Once that window expires, you have to wait for a year again. So let's say if so this year you have not applied, so your H1 window is gone now for this year, right? So only window comes is the next year, which is around March or April. That means you should have a job offer sometime in, I would say, February, March, April. You should have an job offer in your hand, so that they can apply H1 visa for you. If you don't, then again you lose that window, because students who graduate here because they have OPT, they are able to join it throughout the year, right? So you have that constraint. Excuse me. As far as India is concerned, I'm not sure what is the situation right now, but definitely there are plenty of core mechanical engineering companies that I have friends who work for GE, Bangalore, and things like that, that you can always apply. But in my opinion, that you will have much stiffer competition than here, right? So, I mean, that's my evaluation, especially talking to students and talking to people who are graduating now. I mean, it's like every second person is applying right now. So I would say for you, the best option would be to find a job here in US, right? But as far as the in the industry sector, if you think what kind of jobs you have, so you have a R&D core sector that works towards a product development. Let's say if you look at the structure of companies like GE, Rolls-Royce, and things like that, they have an core R&D which works on product development, new ideas. If there are any issues in their production line, they go back to R&D team who try to evaluate it and so forth. That's what I have done initially in my career when I used to work for Rolls-Royce. And and most of the people who are working in R&D sector are PhDs and so forth. Very few masters. So, and you will have a lot of technicians and bachelors who work as an engineer and things like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that I agree. There are certain companies like Boeing, Airbus, Rolls-Royce, in which you have worked, or Apple, in which I can apply because my core work is related to composite and plus designing.
Yeah, yeah, but
So that the
no,
main cause.
let me finish. I don't think you can apply for companies like Rolls-Royce or Boeing because they don't sponsor visa. You need to be a, you need, see, that's another thing you have to understand. Not every company you can apply to,
Okay.
especially now, the immigration situation is not very conducive.
Mhm.
Even when I got the job in Rolls-Royce, they didn't sponsor my visa. I had a green card.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So just be careful that not many companies,
Mhm.
especially the companies who are somehow related to defense contracts. So, for example, for sure, I know Rolls-Royce, Boeing. I mean, the company which I work now, they don't hire even a green card. You need to be a US citizen. So that the constraints are less technical, more immigration related.
Yeah, this constraint is if I apply in their US sector, but these
Yes,
company also
yes.
have R&Ds in India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah,
I'm
I was talking
considering
about.
both option. I'm not strict with any one option.
So
So
yeah, yeah. So India, you can apply. Yeah, definitely.
my major concern is how to approach them and how to apply because you said about GE. So I tried in GE couple of times, but I faced lots of problem there. Means first, what I felt or means one of my very senior guys working in GE. As he's much senior from the
Mm-hmm.
same college.
Uh-huh.
So he said lots of funda, how to get in G. You need to have some connection. You need to know when they are, because they are not even opening their all vacancies in open market and all those things. So my concern is how to approach them.
Mhm.
How to
Again, I
let them know that I'm interested and this is my credentials. If it suits, hire me. So that is my
right,
major concern.
right. So I can give you my example. Okay, how I was able to do it. Okay, and I'm not talking about immigration. Forget immigration for me
Yeah.
for a minute. And that's how I have seen. So this is my fourth job in an industry. So I have switched many jobs. So this is my fourth job, and I can tell you how I was able to approach and all that. So one way, so the very first job that you're gonna get in industry has to have. So at your stage, you have passed the mark of the fresh graduate, right? You are considered as an experienced person. So my first job at Rolls-Royce came because I was working on a project with Rolls-Royce.
Oh,
Okay. And most of the people I know, because I was an experienced person, right? So there are only two ways that you can get a job. So for example, my current job, which I am, there was a position out there, I applied. So it was random, right? That's but again, I was working in an industry before that,
I agree. That
right?
gives some mileage.
Right. that that gave some mileage, because but then I realized it has less to do with my work, my working in industry, but more what I know now. I know that, right? So if I look at your application, right, and if I look at your portfolio, it should not be, it should not especially at your stage, it should not look like that the job that you're going to do, anybody can do it, especially the you it is repressible. Like for example, let me think about if your resume is very different than a resume from a master's student, what value you going to bring in, right? It's not about, trust me, at this stage it's not about running software, it's not about the knowledge, it's about something else, right? And that's actually very important that I realize. But I would definitely say the first job that you're going to get, and I have a couple of also other interviews where I have worked with people in the past and I have known them, and they said, can you are you available and all that. But I would say the very first job at your stage, you have to have some leverage. That means you either know someone, or through LinkedIn, or you have worked on a project or something. You need to have some leverage, and especially I would say at in today's era, in COVID era, where there are so many unemployed people,
Mm.
and not only in India, in US and everywhere, it you need to get there. But I can definitely tell you one thing is, so I made some videos about how to apply for a job. So that's, I think, is very important, where people make a lot of mistakes. So let's say if you see a job opening and you see this is the best job, this is the profile I have, let's say, right? And it says you have a PhD, blah blah blah, and all that. I would say your CV and the description of that job. That means they will have two things there: basic qualification, desired qualification, right? I would say your CV and that description should be like a question and answer.
Correct.
It should be match exactly like that. And trust me, the reason I say so, every time when I was able to do that, I had an interview call. That's for sure, 100%. If you're applying for with your CV and you're not able to answer those questions, let's say for example, it's a very straightforward question. Let's say if they say, do you have a PMP certification? And you don't. If they say, have you worked any failure analysis? Your answer is yes, and your CV says that somewhere. If they say, for example, have you worked on NMR spectroscopy? And your CV says no. Trust me, that's a no. But if you're able to answer them, right, you will get a job interview. Again, I'm not regarding the immigration, that's a separate issue,
Yeah.
right? To be honest with you, I won't be. I probably am not on. I'm not the right person to guide you on how to approach a companies in India because I have never done that. I don't know whether they are reference based or they are more impartial or not. I don't know that. But I can tell you about here for sure is I have a job interviews where I know someone. I said, hey, I saw opening, and the guy said, you want to come for interview? I had that situation also. Also, I have interviews. Actually, most of my jobs, my this job, my previous job, and the previous job, all of them, like I saw it and I thought that this is the right job for me, and I applied for it and I got an interview. But you, I mean, as I said, since you are not very keen on looking for a job in US but in India, I think
So my target is, plus I'm not restricted to any country. My
right,
target
right.
is to get a job in R&D industry. It's India,
Eh,
US, Europe, Canada. That is not my restriction. At
okay,
least for a couple of coming for 4 to 5 years, that is not my
right.
restriction.
So if that is not your restriction, I would say then number one, what you are doing may not help you.
Okay.
That's number one. Very straightforward. And why? Let me tell you. Because if that is the case, if you are so clear about that, I would say then you should look for what industry is looking at. Think like a customer, right? So, what type of jobs are out there? So, most of the jobs you will see out there are manufacturing jobs, right?
Yeah,
Um,
manufacturing or designing.
yeah. So, what type of work you have done, or what type of degree you have, or what type of certifications you have that qualifies you to do so.
Okay.
Let's say, again, a lot of people say, I want to work for a battery company. I'm not sure if you are like that, but if not, you are flexible. For you, doesn't matter. You can work for any company. You just want to get into a company job. I would say then you need to have a skill set where you can look for some of the certifications which qualify you to do so. And I talked to in my couple of videos about, for example, as I said, like PMP certification is awesome thing because that certification is a job for a program manager. And if you look for a job description of a program manager, it is mentioned there that you have a PMP certification. It's like desired one, right? And if you have those sort of a skill set, then honestly, you can work for any company. Doesn't matter. I mean, you can work for Apple, you can work for Google, you can work for ketchup company or anybody, right?
Correct.
So again, then I said, if that is the case, I'm not sure what you're doing right now is going to help you then.
Yeah, to some extent, I agree with that because so far in whatever experience I have in academic, I'm not restricted to any particular topic. I have done PhD in composite. It's stacking strength and those things. At present, I'm working on cold spray that is related to additive manufacturing. There, I have worked with ANSYS software. Here, I'm working with I have a mixture of software. You can see that in my CV.
Mhm.
So I'm not restricted with, and okay, I will work in battery only. The thing is, I'm just not able to connect those dots in which company I should apply and where I can go and those things. And definitely, I don't have any connection in any company. So that option is already closed for me.
Yeah, yeah. But as I told you, and I'm going to be very honest with you, you should make sure that your CV should come as a PhD student, not to be diluted with students who have done masters. Just be careful about that.
Correct.
Because
Agree.
let me tell you, if you look at I have looked at 1,000 CVs, and I can really tell you what are the weak points, what are the strong points.
Yeah, you
One,
have seen my CV. So what are weak
correct.
points and strong points?
I would say one of the weakest point I have comment for you is your CV looks like, or gives an impression of a CV of a good master's student, not a good PhD student.
And
And
I've
the
not.
reason I say so is you you know it I mean, you are saying that you have done a lot of research and all that doesn't come out in there.
Correct. No,
And
I have
maybe
not done much research. Frankly
yeah,
speaking, I have done research till my PhD.
yeah,
Then after my PhD, I was quite inactive in paper writing and all those things. And when I came from 2019, again, I started doing this work. So for 3 years, I have a gap. Plus, I have
right.
not done masters. So that total research is missing. So I'm not saying that I've done lots of research.
No, no, no.
Definitely not.
I'm what I'm trying to tell you is, see, it's good that if you know that, what I will then tell you, then I think you are not also the person who's gonna say, I'm restricted to, as I said, right, in this particular technology or that particular. You can you for you, important thing is you want to get in an industry and do a job.
Simple.
Simple, right?
Correct.
Then I would say what you're doing doesn't comprehend that. You're confusing.
I
You
agree.
know, that is most important. See, to know yourself is most important. I'm not here to say what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm saying then you're confusing yourself. Then you're not doing the right thing, which
So, means what was my confusion? So basically, working on some just, for example, the project in which I'm working at present, that is somewhat leading edge development of certain technology related to additive manufacturing. So having experience in those things won't help in getting industry, any industry which is working in additive manufacturing area. So
you know,
that
see,
was my whole concept of starting this postdoc. To
right, but where in India or in US? That's again,
that I have not decided.
no, no. So no, that is very important. See, there is one thing. Let me tell you why I am saying emphasizing on this. If you ask me, Amit, what is your motto, career motto, right? And I'm going to give you an answer. I want to be a vice president at Lockheed in US. It's very straightforward, right? So I know where I have to go and I will work towards that.
Okay.
But if I say, I'm not sure I want to work in Google, maybe in India, maybe in Japan, that means I'm confused,
Okay,
right?
if you talk in that way, then I'm quite clear. At the end, I have to go back to India. For 4 or 5 years, I can work in any abroad countries and all those things. But after 4 years, definitely I will be back in India.
Right.
Even if I get job in any industry in US, I will move back to India.
So
So that is
in
quite
right.
clear.
So then I would say that again, coming back to the original point, I think then what you're doing right now doesn't comprehend what you say, because as I said, your goal ultimately is to get a job in an industry, right? So you need to understand that. See, the thing is that if you're trying to get a job in, as I said, again, going back to, again, I'm not talking about immigration, but let's say if you're trying to get a job in an, and I'm thinking as a manager, if I want to hire you, put it this way, okay, where I see a weakness, I see if I want to hire you as a person who want to work for a manufacturing unit, then I can hire a master's. I don't need you. But if I want to hire a person who is an expert in R&D area for, let's say, additive, trust me, I don't see that research input there. So again, coming, that's why I'm saying, coming back to the point is, I, for you, I think the best bet would be is not to go too much into research, but go more towards management, more towards um, um, managing things, making those priorities rather than pushing yourself into too much of the core research. I think that where probably you will have a better value of your work, what you're doing. So let's say if you get some sort of a PMP certification or something like that, your technical field will allow you to work with a company that where you can work as a
Agree.
program manager and can make those decisions. But if you ask me as a technical lead, I'm a little bit confused for that, because trust me, all see, you're working in a very strong area, right? But it doesn't, your background doesn't add it up to it, and that could be confusing for you to explain it to someone. And you
Yeah,
can't,
I agree.
and here's the thing, let me tell you another thing. Trust me, nobody can be expert on a particular area in 2 years. Even PhDs are not expert, right?
Correct.
Right. So, and all these companies who are hiring these PhDs, they try to hire an expert person who talk about too technical, whose CVs has a lot of technical input and so forth. And then, as I said, if let's say, trust me, and I'm not going to say that you're not an expert. Let's say you are even an expert. What area you are working in, and what industry you may be looking for apply for a job in US could be difficult just because of immigration.
I agree.
So that's another factor here. And then you can say, what about Canada? Yeah, but I don't know. I
Again,
don't.
same question will miss whichever country I move. The question will be more or less same. My skill set, company's requirement, and all those
No, no,
things.
but
So
I think
I
the
agree.
no, but I think the biggest question would be is, in my opinion, would be, and this is just coming because of a COVID. Also, not many companies are hiring immigrants.
I agree.
That is the another a bigger challenge. So for you to go back and say, hey, GE, give me a job because now I have a postdoc experience, I'm not sure if that's going to work too, because that experience. Actually, I have a friend, in fact, who did his PhD from ISC,
Oh,
and we were a postdoc actually at Hopkins, and he worked for 1 year at Hopkins as a postdoc, and he went back and he's working in GE now. If you want, I can give you his LinkedIn profile. You can give my reference if you want.
oh.
But as I said, you need to find someone where you get
Um,
to
if
hear.
you don't mind, may I know his name? Because I seen about whom I was talking. He is also from ISC, and he is also working in G in Bangalore. So is it the same person?
I think his name is Swapnil. I think
Oh no.
Swapnil. Yeah. No, he's a you are very new. This guy, I think he did his PhD in 2010 or something, and nine. So
Okay,
about
so if time allows, can I ask one
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah. No,
question?
no, I have time. Go ahead.
So this whatever discussion we did so far is based on what I desire.
Mhm.
You have seen my CV, my publication, my skill set, everything. So based on that, what would be your suggestion? Should I go behind my desire, or do I have a better option behind which I can run? It's your input based on my CV. In which direction should I move?
I will definitely tell you one thing is, um, I would definitely tell you one thing for sure is, um, don't, since you are in US, if I was you, I won't give this option to find a job in US lightly. I think you are taking it too easy. I won't do that. That's number one. Because I can tell you very frankly, I looking at your CV, and you may be right. For you to find a job in IITs or even NITs would be extremely difficult. That's number one. For you to find a job back in an industry, in a good industry, I'm saying, would be a lot challenge. And I'm going to add COVID and all, so it becomes difficult. You may be able to find a job in a small business. I'm not sure how good it will be. So for you to say, i'm not I'm not bothered about that, I'm not worried about where I can find a job, is to me a little bit lazy. I would be extremely serious if I was you, because I have an option to look for it. Because trust me, whatever you know, whatever you have, if you can find an industry job, that will be this country. If you can't find here, you won't be find it anywhere else, even with immigration. I can tell you that for sure. Because if you're thinking I can go anywhere, yeah, you can go anywhere, but who's going to give the job, right?
I agree.
See, your best bet is to find a job here.
I agree.
That's number one, right? And for that, matter if you have to do, I don't know, I won't ask you, I won't say that, but if you have to do another postdoc and give it a chance, not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Doing too much postdoc means already I'm doing a postdoc of approx 3 years. So won't be a
Yeah, it will
I
be
will
tough.
be stuck in postdoc only.
Now, again, it depends on if you are able to find a job.
Uh,
See, here's the thing. Postdoc gives you a breathing room. That's all. It gives you a breathing room to explore things and then look outside. Because once you are start to do a job, you're done. You are stuck with a certain thing. Postdoc gives you a breathing room. So the reason only I say it, if you are able to find a job, that's fine. Then you can go. But
okay.
looking at the situation, everybody needs some time to digest what's going to happen, right? So you're saying you're going to get another 1 year. So let's say next year, by this time, hopefully things will be okay. But I'm not sure in terms of job how it's going to pick it up. But I would be very, very serious about next H1B visa cycle and try to see if I am able to find a job or something. But as I said, I'm going to be honest with you. It would be extremely challenging for you.
I know my citation and all are not
No,
that
no, no. Forget
high.
citation. No, no, no. Just immigration. I'm not talking about citation. Immigration.
But
I
for
mean,
getting those things also these things matters, I guess. Citation, publication and all.
no, I'm not even counting those.
Okay.
I mean, the first hurdle you will hear is immigration. Forget citation. Not many companies knows what a citation is. So just from immigration perspective, because they're gonna say, "Can you join?" and you're like, "Yes, but I need a visa." They're like, "Sorry." And I'm saying it because on the top we have so many students right now, masters graduated, PhD graduated, who are not able to find a job, and they can join first day. So you have to be very special, and I don't see that as special actually, where I can say, you know, you know, you can. I mean, there might be there might be something that, but I won't take it lightly. I think if you're going to take that lightly, on saying, if I can find a job here in this country or not, if you're going to take that lightly, you could be in tough situation. so
Yeah.
so so if you say that I don't want a job in an academic and all that, um,
No,
I
actually, the first section of discussion was regarding what I desire. Second section, what a best possibility I have. So in that, definitely I will go with academic also because if I'm losing my desire, then definitely I will opt for the best possible options. So in second
I
half of
mean,
discussion, academic is open for.
yeah, but I would say, try your try your best to what you are looking for. And as I said, if you can find the only place if you can find a job will be US. I'm not sure about India. Again, I'm talking about not any job, but job in a good company and all.
Correct.
But looking at your CV, I would say maybe you have to go back and do the same job as you were doing before in a private institution. That's what I see you doing, to be honest. I won't lie, but it can, if you can turn that miracle, that would be awesome. But the problem here is I wouldn't have said that to you before, but based on the data, based on the situation I see with immigration and unemployment and everything, it could be quite possible.
Frankly speaking, even I know to some extent that is a case where I can fall. And that's the reason I have started looking since now, means from now, and I contacted you to get some idea that how to avoid that situation. So
Yeah, no, that's the right thing to do, to be honest. I mean, to be honest with you, I have spoken with the students, and I will be very frank with you. Graduated from PhDs from IITs or something, and they are wandering around and not able to get an interview, even in private institutions for academics, like small institutions.
uh, I'm I know my means my CV has lots of flaws, but
No, no,
I
no.
don't have
No, no, no.
problem in getting interviews and not even interviews. Okay, I will share my experience
Yeah, yeah.
regarding my jobs in private. Not I'm not talking about IITs and ITs. So far, I have got not only call interview, even I've got offer letter from all the universities,
No, it could be
but
possible
private
because yeah,
universities,
yeah, yeah. But
which I don't want.
right, right, right. But what I'm saying is, there is a reason behind that because you had work.
Correct.
So again, going back to the point, right? If you have an industry experience, might be easy.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So for a fresh one, it might be difficult. For you, it might be easy. So if you have, to be honest with you, there is a book actually I have from GECO, which where it says that if you have a job offer, then it's easy to negotiate. So if you have something,
I
make
agree.
sure you hold
I
on it.
totally agree with
Yeah,
this line.
yeah,
Means I
yeah.
faced this situation.
No, it's because
Even there's a bargaining in salary if you
right.
have a job and if you don't have a job.
Yeah. And the thing is that because it's not only that, it gives you a level of confidence, right? So if you have a job offer where they say, can you join? If I was you at this situation, what is going on, I would negotiate, I will bargain, but then at the end I will probably go and join because you never know.
Correct.
I can chase my dream forever otherwise.
Yeah, which I don't want to. I want to whatever risks and whatever these things I want to go means run for 5 to 6 years. After that, definitely I want to settle down somewhere and where I can retire or where I
Right.
can work for my entire life.
Right. So,
So
this is just to be honest with you, this COVID thing is very unfortunate. And the problem here is a lot of people who overestimated that what they can do, what they can achieve is going down the drain. That's the problem. And I have seen that in myself, in my case also. So I was lucky enough to survive, to be honest, but it would have been a disaster for me also personally. So, you have to be very careful. and
agree.
and and because I speak to a lot of students, I know what's going on. I'm extremely cautious when I tell somebody something, someone something, because a lot of people, they are in their room and living in their own dream, and they don't realize like everybody in their room doing the same thing.
Correct.
So that is